This is the ScreenBlast podcast. Let's make it quick, fast, and hurry. I'm one of your hosts, Bryan Baltimorean, joined alongside
Canine Biscuits. But first, I need to make an announcement. Morton has something to say. He needs to make an announcement.
No, not on the video.
right.
I'm still finishing my message, but now it's done.
It's the sir himself, alongside Horaceson.
You don't want to share with the class?
Sponsored by Cool Ranch Doritos.
I'm pretty sure I got the message as well. So.
And guys, we're here obviously to talk about one of the bigger anticipated movies of the year. In fact, I think for most of the year, this was as anticipated as something like Deadpool Wolverine. So
it's funny.
yeah, it's interesting how that goes, you know. But yeah, like this was Sonic 3, end of the year blockbuster movie from Paramount. Let's get into obviously this review. We're not yet.
So okay, a question I have. I'm surprised I never asked. Have you played any 3D Sonic platformers?
You asking me or
you? Because you know everyone else. You know everyone else here has.
If I did, the only Sonic other thing.
Not counting racing. I said 3D.
No, I know,
3D platformers.
No, the only other Sonic thing I've played outside of anything racing or vehicular, like obviously the best game ever, Sonic Riders. What is the Xbox Connect one?
Free Riders?
Yeah, that's Mark's favorite game.
You actually played that one?
No, God no.
I mean, I owned it.
Oh, good. We'll have to.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's the third game in a franchise. So I mean, third movie, third game. We're
well, after Bryan, I'm just gonna say it right now. Bryan, after we saw this movie, Bryan came to me and was like, "I'm a Sonic fan now," and I was like, "So what games do I need to play?" And I was like, "We got a lot of catching up to do."
Yeah. And you said Sonic Unleashed, and I was like, "Thanks, man."
Fuck yeah, I'm fucking cool.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
But no, no, 3D wise.
Well, I don't see the problem here.
But 3D wise, like, no, not really.
Just the fuck up.
So, I was answering your question.
Huh?
You really
my God.
at least one.
No, I have not played a 3D Sonic game. No.
I never had a Krabby Patty. I never had a Krabby Patty.
I'm not saying they suck. But no, I think I played Sonic Rush on DS.
Good. That's a good 2D game.
Yeah, I played that
But that's not
years
3D.
and years ago. I know, but that's not 3D. That's why I'm saying I have not played a 3D. Anyway,
I will get you Sonic Colors.
So, this idea though.
Just give him Sonic X Shadow Generation. That's like just the best one. This is the best.
You know what? Yeah, I'll get him that.
That sounds like the best package. Plus,
What system you have?
What system do I have? Is that
Switch.
you moving back and forth? You sound like you're farting.
What?
You sound like you're
Oh,
farting.
are we still recording?
Yeah, we're still
saying that.
We're on right now.
This is all gonna be in there.
Just.
I just want to tell you.
Anyway, what system do you have?
Yeah,
Oh,
Switch.
I have
You can play Sonic
Yeah.
Shadow Generation.
Switch?
I'm not touching anything new.
Do you have PS4?
I have an Xbox One.
I think it's on Xbox One.
Oh wait, he actually got the best package kind of because he can play Unleashed, he can play Colors, and like the rest of them.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. The Xbox is.
Whichever system you let me know, and I'll get you the game.
But in all seriousness, I like Unleashed, but you should not start with Unleashed.
So this actually.
Unleashed is not beginner friendly.
So this actually springboards me back to Sonic 3 because I think for a long period of time, that opening of Sonic Unleashed, it's like at least for me, that traveled through YouTube forever. That opening to Sonic Unleashed, it's like, what is a cinematic experience of a bombastic blockbuster Sonic experience? What would it look like if it were a movie? And it's like the only thing that we really had to connect onto, or I thought of immediately upon the announcement of the first movie was that Sonic Unleashed opening cutscene. That is so awesome and so cool, and it's in space. And what do we see in Sonic 3 but an awesome, cool space combat sequence there for a little bit? So it is feeling like a little bit of a full circle moment. It was fun.
That fight between Sonic and Shadow is like the closest, like, well, it's like I think it's surpassed that Unleashed cutscene.
It actually we're finally
good.
past it. We are finally past that. Yeah, absolutely. It's great. It's great to see.
It is the closest thing we'll ever get to seeing Goku versus Majin Vegeta in a theatrical release in terms of fighting. It was legit Dragon Ball Z. That's what it's crazy, but
yeah. But yeah, going in again, just we don't really have to talk about the anticipation because we all know this was a hyped movie. But getting out of it, like going around the panel here. What Mark, you were the first Super Sonic fan that I know. Then you've got Martin over here as well, the Sir himself, also there. Wanted to hear from definitely both of you about it. What do you think about this third movie and where it kind of moves Sonic as a theatrical experience?
That was fucking good as shit. I at first, when my first viewing, I was a bit I felt like it was like a bit too much Jim Carrey. It didn't not too he didn't have enough sentimental moments as like the second and first movie. But after the second time watching it, I was like, okay, this is just a fun time. And I think even though the sentimental moments don't feel as heavy as at least the second movie, because I still think about the that moment where Sonic is trying to cuddle for support between Tom and Maddie. Yeah. Before he gets all the Chaos Emeralds. I think that's a really good scene. I think at least the shadow moments do come a little bit close to that, and I think everything the movie just does. It just works, and it's in terms of a movie on its own, it's not one of the best. It's not one of the best cinematic pieces ever, but it is just probably one of the funnest times this fun to theater experience I had of a movie this year. Almost next to Wolverine and Deadpool. This is just a really fun time.
Martin.
Pretty much the same thing, except I still think there's too much Jim Carrey, especially towards the end. I would love for a little more serious tone with what's happening around them, but the two of them are being the two of them. Jim Carrey is being Jim Carrey at the moment. I love Jim Carrey, but there's a moment where you just I need you to take it a little bit more seriously, man. But overall, yeah, as Sonic fan, this is just another step up into the whole Sonic thing. I really enjoyed the Sonic versus Shadow fight. It's just peak right there.
The interaction in general, it's just so perfect. And it's why do you look like me? I asked questions around. Why do you look like me?
That is. I still think they should have at least at one point said Faker at least once instead of just calling him Pasta. It's like a mandate they made where someone's just don't say Faker, because I swear throughout the movie they said Pasta, they said clone, they said all other words except the one that everything wanted them to say.
That one cutscene in Sonic X Shadow Generation just threw this gave us all the references we needed.
The one cutscene?
It's a cutscene where he was fighting Sonic, and it was just nothing but quote references.
Yeah. But
I found you, Shadow. That blue hedgehog of all places.
Yeah, I know.
Die for. It's you guys are just swimming in it.
But yeah, for the most part, I love this movie. I can't wait for the match, and I called it on the damn.
We'll talk about the post.
Okay.
We'll talk. Nick, what do you think?
The movie wasn't too bad, and this is gonna sound a little crazy. I think this movie should have been Sonic 4 because they were cooking with good stuff, but some of it just didn't hit right because either maybe Jim Carrey wanted to stick with his style, or I'm not sure if it was a director moment. But I think potentially this was a good movie that could have been a great movie. And I'm not going to spoil anything. But
full spoilers. We're getting deeper into the discussion, but it's full spoilers.
Yeah, ScreenBlast is just spoilers.
ScreenBlast, that's why we explode to the audience, in front of the audience about the movie.
That's fucking gross.
We literally...
Especially since you named one of our fucking podcast Creep Crew.
You're
singing us deeper.
I just want to let you understand, we burst with excitement. By the way, we used to have a video game pod called The Way We Play, and The Briefing, and then the long form, I floated it past Mark, I was like, we should just call it Circle Jerk, and he was like, we're not fucking calling it.
I'm leaving!
We call it Circle Jerk.
Circle Jerk.
Because
a circle jerk.
And it's don't do that. So, but you wanted this, do you think this would have been better as a fourth movie? Explain.
I believe for that because when the more that they show the movie, they hit a lot of things about Sonic Adventure 2. And it does feel weird going from SA2 before they tackle SA1. But some stuff I felt like, what was his name? I think he was the commander of Gun or something like that. I think he
Commander Walters.
That's it. I think Walters could have stayed alive for longer because we see Walters.
For 30 seconds.
Yeah, and he tries to stop the gun soldiers from shooting down Marie and Shadow. And it's like, wait a minute, like, he wasn't all bad. I kind of wish we saw a real interaction between him and Shadow instead of more so, like, Tom cloning himself as the commander. And then he gets hit, and then that's when it's like, Sonic has to choose between... It's like the Uncle Ben moment where he chooses what to do.
Yeah, the responsibility.
I don't think he would have. I don't think Shadow would have cared if what Walters did in that moment, because as soon as he saw Walters in the movie, he was cold-cocked him.
He was ready.
He was like, "Oh, I don't have no time to talk."
Also, Nick, this is actually the fourth movie.
Huh?
No, the Knuckles show is only 3 hours long. That's just a fucking movie.
That doesn't exist.
Wade and Knuckles.
Yes, it does. He uses the flames of disaster when he breaks in. His fists are on fire. That's the flames of disaster.
I'll be 100% honest with it. I don't have any interest in seeing especially after your review and your discussion on it. I don't need to see.
Episode 1 is great. Episode 2, episode 3, episode 4, pretty funny. Episode 5 and 6.
The show isn't bad. It's just not what was advertised. It's just everything you saw in the first. And those advertisements was just the first episode.
But hey, watch episode 1. That episode's great. That episode's
if you're looking for the Knuckles show, watch the first episode.
Yeah, episode 1 is a pure sequel.
If you're looking for Wade and Knuckles, then watch the rest of the series.
Beautiful. Yeah. What I'll say is...
No, if you're looking for Wade and Knuckles, watch the rest of the series up until episode 5. Episode 5 and 6, just Wade.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But, that's about...
Yeah,
wait, did you finish it, Nick?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and stuff like that. It was a lot more of the sentimental moments I wish that they hit. I mean, they're gonna change stuff. I do wish Maria still had her condition. That way they could kind of push the envelope of, hey, Shadow, people treat me different too because they think I can't take care of myself and stuff like that. That was a little bit of the correlation. I liked how they treated Shadow kind of like an experiment. I just wish we saw more of it. I will say, Amy and Mel Sonic appearing at that should have been the third movie in my opinion. I think for the fourth movie, they might tie...
Because Metal Sonic before Shadow would have... But it doesn't... Yeah. Again, I'm with you on a number of things there. I agree with the Martin as well. Like, I think the Jim Carrey aspect is also different. I think the issue... Yeah. But I think... I just want to... Before going wide again, I think, legitimately, this movie is fun, but this also kind of shows you... It's the pros and the cons of the tone that this style of franchise has, where we will dance with seriousness, but we are kind of like an MCU-ish at its peak. Like, the comedy bits will always take over instead of the gravity moments. And I feel you, Mark, when you said earlier, like, there were no real moments that hit the way that "you'll never take my power. Who says I need your power?" You're like, oh shit, okay. Like, that was, I still remember, like, when that first trailer for Sonic 2 came out, and it was like, oh shit, alright, this is gonna be fun. Like, yeah, like, you already know that Shadow's gonna be, like, as you always say, edgy to hedgy. So, you know that that's gonna be a big part of this. And, like, I think I do really like what Nick, what you mentioned, because, I had this issue with Transformers 1, where if you just stretch that story out a little bit more, you don't just have Megatron jump so quickly into being negative, and you kind of cook a little more, you could have yourself a second movie where you could build in more of that narrative. But like you said with this one, it's like they had to speed run, unfortunately, through this entire... Like, they sped run through, like, critical pieces that could have been, like, massively cracked open into making an even better... Like, I'm not saying this movie's bad. This is a fun blockbuster, but...
You're basically saying this movie's bad.
It's the difference between Puss in Boots like Shrek and Puss in Boots the Last Wish. Shrek is a classic, and it's fun, and it's a good time. Then you've got Puss in Boots the Last Wish, which just nails everything, and is you just can't beat it. And again, this franchise, it's not going to be Puss in Boots the Last Wish, so I'm fine with what we got here. And that final battle sequence there,
Act 3,
like that saves, it absolutely saves it, because yes, Jim Carrey, unfortunately, just we haven't said this in a long time, and I don't even remember when the last time anyone said we had too much Jim Carrey. but there was too much Jim Carrey here. Like, he was great. It was a great compliment in the first movie. You're trying to sell the first movie. You're trying to make money. So let's get someone that everyone loves along with selling this iconic blue hedgehog. And it worked. The idea worked. Second time, you still use them, but you grow more towards these CGI characters so you don't need humans as much. That's great. You kill him off in the end. He reappears, and unfortunately now he's doing double the workload to make comedy work. And to some people, they're going to love this because Jim Carrey's back again, but to me, again, it's just overloaded.
The issue is because what I like about this movie is it is more focused on just the CG animals this time. Because we didn't have a scene like the wedding scene in Sonic 2. But the thing is, it's the B plot this time. Because instead of being the B plot in the second one was the wedding, the B plot this time is the two Jim Carrey's Robotnik and is him bonding with his grandfather
or grandfather.
And because it's a B plot, they do share a significant more amount than the CG characters, and even though this is a better ratio because also I like that we're just full on in Wacky Town, no groundedness whatsoever.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's just it does feel overloaded a bit with the Jim Carrey segments because it's just there's no real story to it. It's just gag after gag after gag.
Yes.
Yeah. I just believe that if they had at the end of that scene with the fight going on outside, if they had both the Robotniks in mechs. Cause I thought they were going.
Yeah, they were going to go Madness.
I thought they were going to turn into Badniks with the Mantis and I thought if they had just been in mechs,
go crazy,
and fighting all over the wall. That would have made for more. Because they could have been still cracking jokes and being Jim Carrey inside of the mechs. You know what I'm saying? But just
go in with it. Yeah, don't just because they get to the space station and that energy just kind of stops entirely. And I know that obviously the younger Robotnik's supposed to have a moment there. But again, if you just have him go all in, that's why Sonic 2 was so much fun. That's why I still think 2 is better. Because he's still going all in at the end of that movie, and he dies doing it, or you think he dies doing it. And that's fine. That's satisfactory.
Yeah.
But here it's you lose yourself there. You had to, the space station had a mustache on it. You go all in. Go all in. It's, Sorry, go ahead, Mark.
No, I was saying pause it.
The banging on the door.
Action. All right. Mark, you were saying something.
Yes, I was.
What was that thing you were saying?
You see, the thing I was saying may surprise you.
On action. All right. Sonic 3. Something.
Dark
action.
side.
Something. Shadow. Jim Carrey. Robotniks. We were talking about that.
But anyway, I like that what the. Well,
I like hand it off. You just say, anyway, fuck you, Bryan, for handing it off to me out of respect, trying to reset you.
Yeah. It was part of my plan the whole time, but anyway, what I like about these movies is they're not, because going off Nick's point, the opposite of Nick's point, but what I like about these movies is they're not following the games beat for beat. I like that they're doing their own thing and they're doing it well. If they weren't doing it well, I'd be like, why aren't you going off the games? But because also the Genesis games are probably a bit harder to turn into a movie adaptation. So of course they would have to do their own thing with that. Sonic Adventure 2, I think it would just the game itself, those cutscenes, I think they would translate well if you just completely adaptate the story straight forward through to a movie. But they did their own. They took material from Sonic Adventure 2 and they did their own thing instead of copying the story outright. And I respect that more only because they did this story well. And I like this version of the Sonic. I guess I guess it is a version of the Sonic Adventure 2 story in a way. And I just like this version better, and it gives me more. I look forward to what they do more in the future, because also I don't think we're going to get Jim Carrey back, but I feel I trust these writers to be creative to I guess try to make a story without an Eggman. Maybe they're gonna make it. Technically we have a Robotnik. Maybe they're gonna have a new villain and have that be just
Yeah, I know we were having the same question after Sonic 2, just because obviously he was presumed dead, and we're like, well, Jim Carrey's not signed on for a third one. And we had also said as well, like, well, there's always the chance that they just lean more on these characters, because it was originally, well, it's live action with CGI characters. It's like, well, you can pretty much completely go into those CGI characters in this live action setting without humans. I will say, they did a really good job, by the way, balancing out with, like you said, those human characters that are so part of the heart of the movie with Sonic, you know, his adopted family. They did a good job with that. But yeah, like how they move into villainy in the next movie will be a big deal. But in this movie, I think, again, outside of the wacky antics that kind of got too far, where, I mean, you get a dance sequence that kind of, it's like, it was funny, but it was like, oh, okay, I'd rather have some shadow time here. Like, legitimately, every minute of that dance in the middle of the security thing, it's like, that's funny, haha, but I'd rather have, like, you know, like, it kind of, like the wedding scene in the second movie, it's like, you kind of stop, funny. You're chugging, you're chugging and you're stopping the movie here.
Yeah.
For
because that wasn't fun.
Because it wasn't fun.
Also, the human characters, like, I like that, like, now that they're more in the background, especially, like, Maddie and, Tom and Maddie, I like them a lot better in this movie. I find their scenes more enjoyable because they're like they're just bouncing off the CG characters, and they bounce off them well, and they do feel like a real family. I do love this whole dynamic they have with these two human characters and Sonic and everyone. They just have a great dynamic. I look forward to whenever they interact. Same thing with their scenes in the second movie. I just didn't like when they were just with other humans interacting with just no CG characters at all.
Yeah, it's a brilliant idea to say, have your human characters be happy when the main focus characters want them involved, or they come back for a second. Like, you know, when the adopted family comes in, they're like, oh, thank God you're here. We're getting bored as fuck. Like, can you please, I'm actually happy that you're here. Like, that's a good thing, because then it also is good for the audience. Like, you feel that enthusiasm from them, even though they're not the part that you actually want to see at all. Like, you know.
Also, this movie, I like to relate this humor to, Fairly Odd Parents, mostly because what they keep doing is they do this joke where it's like, man, it's good that this thing doesn't happen. And then this thing happens, and it's like, okay, this thing happened! And they do that, multiple times in this movie.
Yeah. Nick, what's his name?
Oh, I was going to say, it's funny you mentioned that, though, because the weird part is, I remember thinking in the back of my head, I kind of wish Rouge or maybe Amy was here, because Shadow doesn't really interact with anyone besides Sonic. It's Sonic that finds out about his past, and we get clips of Maria. But I'm I played SA2 again, and to make a long story short, Amy is the one that convinces Shadow to believe in people again.
But again, I do like Mark said, that the threads here are, we're going to be inspired, but we're not going to copy-paste.
Yeah.
And it delivers kind of better there, I think, in the end. Though, again, if you were going to, hypothetically, add another train car, put a third movie in between this and the second, that's where you put Amy in and you do all that blah, blah, blah. But you don't. But because of its placement, I think this perfectly works, for the most part, outside of the fact that, again, everything's kind of at fast-forward speed. That's the only thing that kind of, I think...
But I think that... Maria being in a flashback, actually the one in this movie, because I'm a big Sonic fan too, and I do like.
Every time we do a Sonic game,
you're a Sonic fan? You're gross.
Anyway,
stay away from me.
I like the Maria, that line with the fuss, even though the star fade. That was a really good line.
Yeah, carried through the whole movie.
Yeah, I'm glad they let that, because it's better that Maria is the one who does
that is the thread of
because it's just all in the movie, because it's so different from the original game. I'm glad that they took Maria and shot it to that point where she said something so inspirational that it just changes his mind.
Honestly, Martin, something I wish that actually happened in the games is that Sonic is the one that talks Shadow into being good. That's what I like about this movie. You think the main character would kind of help inspire like whatever troubled character.
Yeah, because this song
in
is
these
different
games.
compared to the game. The game,
Yeah.
where he's more affectionate with what I look for. But I think affectionate is fine. But
we get it. He's not helping.
He's more he's more growing.
Yeah.
Sonic in the games is just growing. He doesn't really have like much character arcs.
Yeah. But so I like you say, I know they had that heartfelt, but it was like that line at the end that just like kicked them into, okay, you know what? I'm pretty sure what I'm doing is wrong. I need to help out with destroying this thing. But I do have to say that
front door closed.
that scene on the moon, right when they were flying back to the Ark, I thought it was taking way too long for them to get there. It was moments.
Okay, here's the funny thing.
It was moments when I was like, oh, this is taking way too long for them to get there. But then like you see certain parts of the movie where they're moving so fast
they're just zooming in.
And I'm like, I know they're doing it for dramatic effect and everything, but at the same time, I was like, this is so...
Well, because again, that's where it goes back to the Robotniks are fighting each other, man.
Yeah, that part, I like
so it's like I didn't... that was like the other battle that was happening at the same time. It's like, I could give a fuck less. Like you guys either on the same team, make yourselves mega mad robot, like go all in, or don't do this thing where you have Jim Carrey like squeezing the other Jim Carrey's mustache.
Oh yeah,
like, okay, all right, like fun, sure, but like, don't burn the time that we have with Sonic and Shadow going all out together to cut back to Jim Carrey.
It's like Jim Carrey.
Oh my god,
Diane.
like I don't care.
I forgot that part was in there.
Yeah,
you made me remember.
Yeah, like that was the only.
I will say though, even though they were annoying, a lot of these things are still very funny. I would.
The thing is, it's funny, but it's like it's too much.
Yeah, it was too much. Even though it was hitting, it was too much. There can be too much of a good thing.
Yeah, there was another. There was a reviewer I watched, like Jeremy Jones, who said, like the first movie, and he said it perfectly. Like the first movie, they kind of toned him back, and he was like he was this presence where you would get the Jim Carreyisms every once in a while in the first movie, but by this movie it's like he's just free roam. Like it's like, all right, do whatever you want, be the madman.
Yeah, also there's this weird soap opera, like this ridiculous soap opera they were watching.
It's actually weird because they try to intermix it too, and I was gonna say, like, my mind's going back to the games. It's weird seeing this, thinking how much of a menace SA2 Eggman was. He almost killed Sonic at one point too. So to see him intermix between funny and seriousness, I feel like they were trying to do a way that's compatible with Jim Carrey, but it kind of fell off at certain points.
Well, Eggman in the games is just a menace in general.
I think they took that part and gave it to Gerald.
Yeah,
like make him the more menacing presence.
Gerald has like school shooter mentality.
Yeah.
He's going to kill everyone and then himself. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was the plan. I'll kill everyone.
Gerald is the assistant.
No, Gerald.
He's the grand.
Oh, Gerald. Yeah, absolutely.
Agent Stone is the assistant.
Which again would have been better if. That's why again I think whether or not you relay to make one a story that is one of one to the video games, I would have definitely preferred if this movie just said, "All right, young Robotnik is dead. We're just gonna go all in with this one." Like it's still Jim Carrey. And it's the old man. I think him as a presence would have been much more threatening without the fun, goofy shit throughout the middle of the movie where he's got to be befriending with the family. But it's like you get out of that and you just get serious Robotnik, and you've got fucking Shadow and the team that's already been established in this movie. And I think you have a much. I'm going to be honest, like it's just a better movie on your hands because you have a singular threat to face. And then, whatever you do with the other Robotnik later, like he's technically, like, we thought he was dead in the end of the second movie. So again, he doesn't necessarily have to come back. His assistant
could be the young protege that does whatever,
Well,
or he just doesn't exist anymore.
if they-
but
well,
that, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
the thing
is, they killed him off in this movie too. So like, if they bring him back again after like seemingly
That's right.
having a death, it'll be redundant.
It would.
Not really.
That-
I mean, Eggman seemingly dies in
That's,
every
I know
game.
that's the games though.
That's the games that- yeah,
the
I
games
think
have a
so.
different status quo.
It would get
expectations.
tiring as an audience member. It would get tiring to just
See-
it's like Fast and
see
Furious.
back to
If
back.
it was the same
Yeah.
villain, like okay, we're stopping this cartel member again, and it's the same fucking cartel member again.
the
Did
game-
you get hit by an 18-wheeler? Yeah, but I'm back, and it's about family. Like okay, but I don't give a fuck. Can we?
The games and movies have like different expectations in terms of story writing because the games are just like meant to be like Saturday morning cartoons, and like they just reset a status quo every time.
You think it should be done with Robotnik altogether?
I think they played their hand into it. Again, you could have had the old Robotnik be the villain for these next couple movies, but because you did the thing where you have him fucking turn to dust, which was incredible, but you just spontaneously have him combust due to energy.
So what I would say is that the second movie was just because they didn't know Jim Carrey was coming back.
Yeah,
well, no, but that's a great way to end it.
Yeah, I'm saying, but
the thing is,
they probably didn't want to kill him off.
It's not.
They didn't know he was
It
coming
doesn't.
back.
It doesn't. Go
In
ahead.
the third movie, like honestly, we don't even know if he died because they do the whole movie fade away explosion from a distance thing.
Agreed, but it's
okay.
Agreed.
Like,
So here's the thing. This one felt final. The death in the second movie was we can bring him back or we couldn't bring him back because he just goes away.
Yes.
That's it. And it's not like a final. It's not like a final like goodbye to this character or to this villain.
Blasting off again?
yeah, but in credits, the very in credits, it basically said like, "Hey, Shadow survived this. What's the chance that Eggman?" Because the running theory right now is that
But
Shadow saved him on his way out.
No, I understand, but I'm saying as an audience member, Paramount and the writing team of this franchise has now exhausted Jim Carrey. Like, my time with Jim Carrey, I'm good. He was critical in the first movie. He was critical in the second movie. He was overcooked in the third movie.
They doubled it.
And if you didn't, and if you had the old man be the new one, and you just kind of had him in the background, and then maybe he comes back in the like if you just you do the thing that Fast and Furious, like okay, you do the thing that Fast and Furious does, where the old man becomes the new prominent, and then the old man apparently dies, and then the younger Jim Carrey comes back in like the fifth movie. Now you have you can extend that forever. But if you keep doing this dance, like at some point it's gonna get fucking exhausting.
Yeah.
Aren't there what other villains? There's a time. Are there? Is it? I know obviously I'm not big into.
Okay,
Sonic.
There's other Sonic antagonists, but Eggman's always the main one. That's the thing. But the thing is, it's this is again, this movie's very final because he even has a goodbye to Agent Stone. Because I can imagine like maybe he'll like skip if he ever comes back, he'll probably skip 4 and come back as a surprise guest in 5 or 6 because they're gonna make these movies forever.
But also they can just they can definitely just focus on. I truly think they can just focus on these animated characters that they have. This playground is now full of. You've got 5 because we know Amy's coming. I'm gonna move to that now, but. Now that Amy is going to be
I want to finish
a piece, I'll toss it back to you in a sec, but because Amy will be another piece, that's now 5 animated characters in there. You can just play around with that, with those 5, and that can be a thing. Like, whether it's, we got to get Shadow on our side. I don't know what they're going to do, but, like, they can figure it out, and it can be fascinating. But you don't need to go back again to... I don't really know if... I know you kind of have to go back to Eggman at some point, but I want something fresh. Yeah.
I think they're gonna try to find something fresh because, like, again, the directors, the writers in interviews did say themselves, like they have different expectations for the movies than they have for the games. I mean, their words were like, the games have a status quo sort of reset, and people expect development within these movies. So there was no final development like in at the end of movie 2 of Eggman, just like because he just gets defeated, and this third one he says a goodbye to everyone and Agent Stone, and it just the last bit is Agent Stone walking away. It fades out. And the antagonist that's previewed in this one is just Metal Sonic, and we're gonna get into expectations for the 4th one in a bit. Yeah. But like I think for right now, and even if they bring him back in the future, like Jim Carrey's just done for this next movie.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. Let's talk about those mid and end credit sequences. We talked about this once we came out of the theater. I do feel like because of the way that they put Hyper Metal Sonic in there, it does feel like he's not.
I like how you call him Hyper Metal Sonic because you watch the OVA.
Yeah, and that's all I'm gonna. Yeah. But
He's just Metal Sonic.
But
Hyper Metal Sonic is a cool name.
Sorry, it's in my brain. It's in my brain.
You can call Hyper Metal Sonic. It's a cool name.
Like, why do you
I do think it's the coolest name too.
I was about to say we can just call him T1000.
But yeah, again, I watched that OVA so many times. Hyper Metal Sonic, like it's so cool. But like it was cool to see him, but it's like okay, the way they showed him off, where it's like he just gets his ass kicked. Like all of them get their ass kicked in 0.3 seconds. I just think this was a character reveal. This is like a character reveal for Smash Brothers, where the real focus is Amy. Hyper Metal, this was for the fans, but he's not actually going to be a part of Sonic 4. The real thing is going to be Amy, and that's it. Because that.
I'm sorry, who gets their ass kicked?
Doesn't Hyper Metal get his ass kicked?
Yeah, it's like,
and then there's also like thousands. There's like 100 of them.
Nothing happens.
Yeah.
So he just misses Sonic, and Sonic just runs behind him, and he was like, "What the fuck you gonna do about it?" And then all the other Metal Sonics appear, and like, "Oh shit!" And then Hammer beats them all. They didn't get a chance to like swing at each other at all.
Yeah, but if Amy can just do that, and they don't have any fucking senses, then I think that this was fun.
Watching it again, I think that those were just clones and the real Metal Sonic, because the real Metal Sonic actually never got destroyed.
Well, no, he melted into lava.
No, I'm not talking about the OVA.
Oh, okay.
I'm just talking about in general. It's like, I've never seen them blow up. I've never seen them blow up in any of the games. So yeah, I don't know.
They're talking about this to the movies. Like this is a different universe, my dude.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like to make a Metal Sonic and get him instantly destroyed is playing.
I'm just saying canonically Metal Sonic is still around because they brought him back in Colors, the re-release, and that's canon.
Wait,
because they have a whole
canon to Colors, but not to the movies.
No, I'm talking the movies.
Yeah. No, you're talking about the games at first. Too.
Yeah, I was, but I was thinking the movies like to see him get smashed a Metal Sonic get smashed so easily.
Oh yeah,
by Amy.
Well, that just tells me they're gonna keep coming. There's more.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But I don't want this to be like Iron Man 3. Like, all right,
I want there to be a simple Metal Sonic who can't get smashed.
So here's what I'm pretty much thinking, because like my anticipation, because this is Sonic CD is all about time travel.
Yeah.
So those have to have came out of time.
Yeah.
I don't know if Amy came out of time. They can probably because this is a different Amy. So this is like from what it looks like.
Badass Amy.
Yeah, badass.
She has no attraction to Sonic at all, and she won't.
Well, the modern Amy doesn't either. So they're kind of the same now.
There's no way that they are going to have her be romantically interested.
They don't do that with modern Amy, so it's kind of the same now anyway. But
all right.
But Sonic CD has to do with time travel, and my intention is they're probably going to bring in Silver. Because like I remember there was a list of like games they have access, like the Sega gave them access to take story from. And that list can probably like change.
Just Sonic Forces.
Sonic, but no joke. I mean, Sonic Unleashed is on there. Sonic Adventure 1 and 2.
Movie done right would actually be really badass.
Oh, yeah. So I know Sonic Unleashed was on there. Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, and Sonic 06 is on there as well.
Okay.
So they have already taken elements from Sonic 06, which is the Flames of Disaster. Iblis is in the Knuckles series.
Yes. Yeah.
So before I pass it off to all of you, this does get to that last point here of like what would you like to actually see? Because when you get to a fourth movie, now you're into saga material. You are not just getting a trilogy. It's like holy shit! Like we're in a timeline where these are not only 3 Sonic movies that are on like Netflix or whatever random shit. No, these are theatrical blockbusters that hit every time they come out.
This is his own cinematic universe.
Now we are right. So now we're at the point where we're getting to saga material, not saga material. So what would you like to see? Would you want to see Paramount? What would you want to see Paramount do? Not only in the fourth movie, but like in between now and the fourth movie, in terms of like gaming. Like, what would you like to see Sega do between now and Sonic 4 to get people hyped for a hypothetical fourth movie with Amy? What would you like to see Sega do? What would you like to see Paramount do? Should there be another series that they make with one character spun off again? Like, what would you want to see? out of
I would like a an hour or hour and a half long for pretty much a movie, like a special, because if they can't afford to do a whole series of these CG characters on screen for majority of the time, then just at least just let it be a special, or just don't do it at all, just to save it for the movie. Because I like parts of the Knuckles show, and then there's parts where it's just this is some Nickelodeon sitcom I don't care about. But and again, my expectations for the next movie is I think the selling point is going to be Silver and Amy. I think Silver is if this has to do with time travel shit, and they're going they have I think on that list was of games they can take sources from. It probably expanded or shortened, we don't know. But Sonic 06 was on there, and they already took an inspiration from Sonic 06, so again, they might be using Silver.
Yeah, probably. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Silver doing the same thing, coming back and trying to kill Sonic.
Yep.
And then Amy also came back, and she's trying to protect him.
Shit, so me and Bryan were talking about this, because I forgot Silver's the last one where they do this whole rival plotline shit.
Yeah, exactly. That fourth movie, I'm alright, so they did this, and obviously, foes for a second, then comfortable with each other. They did this in 2, they're gonna do it, they did it in 3, it's God, I hope, we get a
I think Silver's literally the last one.
I think Silver's gonna be more of a long line. If they're gonna bring Shadow back, I'm pretty sure they're gonna be more of them fighting each other than Sonic.
Gotcha.
Because they're gonna want to do the back of the head kick in the movie.
I know which one
they're gonna want to do that at least once, because that's gonna rile fans to no ends when they see that.
Gotcha.
But
it could be a quick turn, because I think the main rivalry it will just be Sonic and Metal Sonic, because I think it'll be Sonic and Metal Sonic. That's the more famous rivalry.
Yeah, that's the rivalry, because it's the only rivalry that's actually still going.
Yeah.
Yes.
All the rest of them has ended, but Metal Sonic,
and that one has I think that one has the most suspense to it, because Metal Sonic is treated as a deadly threat most of the time.
Yeah.
Unhumorous deadly threat.
When Metal Sonic shows up, they usually when I'm reading the comic books, when he shows up, Sonic has all the attention on Metal Sonic, because Metal Sonic can easily, in the comic books, he can easily take a lot of them at once.
Yeah, and his most recent canonical appearance is there's a short series they made to coincide with the release of Colors. The re-release of Colors.
And when they were racing, you talking about the little cartoon animated one?
Yeah, it was the Colors it was a 3-episode YouTube series for the Colors re-release.
Oh, you mean it was Killing the Wisps?
Yep, and that's canon, and Metal Sonic was in that, so that's I guess technically the last thing with, unless you can, Team Sonic Racing technically is the last canon thing with Metal Sonic in it. It is canon.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's the other time they had an actual fight in the games.
I was thinking,
because Metal Sonic usually,
depending on how they do it, if they do the time waste, either they go back to the past, which we possibly might be able to see to call from SA1, or I think possibly, and this is just headcanon theory, for to see more of Team Dark, we could have it where Shadow's in the future, and Rouge and Omega are there finding a way to incorporate those characters too. Because they focused on Team Dark, oddly enough, with the Year of Shadow, with the cinematic cutscene. And so I was hoping to find some way where they could actually insert those characters, and we could see things from Shadow's perspective and how he gets his friends and stuff like that.
Okay, so there's a lot of Sonic characters, and I had another friend that was hey, since Metal Sonic's here, when they do Sonic Heroes, I think they're not trying to do too many characters. That's too many. So I think
if they're going to do something like that, they're going to have a spin-off series with Shadow.
Yeah,
they got to build this an Avengers level threat if they're going to do that. And again, they already had a hard time in this movie giving Knuckles and Tails something to do. That's where we are. With
I say they had enough for Tails to do, but more so Knuckles.
But that's what I mean. They're already all right, how can we balance all the puzzle pieces here? It's they are already at that point. That's why, again, I think for a fourth movie, just get away from any humanistic threat, or maybe there is a humanistic threat, and it's one of the other characters that is the vessel of that threat.
Well,
because again, you keep adding characters, you're gonna have less and less for some of those characters to do. That's why, again, Avengers: Infinity War is such a S tier movie, because it actually gives everyone value at their time. Where it's if you're already having trouble with 4 characters, getting equal time, then you know, like hey,
I think it's just going to be like since Eggman died, he had like a failsafe.
Yeah, exactly, and that's
Metal
where
Sonic.
That's where Hyper comes.
Yeah,
in. Well,
and
Metal,
then,
I'm sorry, Metal. Yeah,
and then Amy shows up in the future because the Metal Sonic's already taken over or something like
right.
that. And now
Terminator time.
And then Silver will also see like the future, like, well, this Sonic's the problem. Let's just kill him and end it.
I mean, you also have Gun that's out there too. Like Gun does exist.
Yeah, but Gun doesn't. Gun is no real threat to like the in the movie verse so far.
Agreed,
Eggman's
but I'm
weapons.
saying they have to. I mean, you could easily have a human side of things that are like, all right, again, this is like the Sokovia Accords in Avengers, where it's like, all right, or Civil War, where it's like, all right, like you guys are fucking wild, and that shit came down out of space, and we lost tech because all this shit went crazy. We're gonna beef our shit up, and then Hyper Metal comes out of that, or something like that. Yeah,
Martin,
fourth movie. Yeah.
Martin, have you finally played the Shadow level yet?
I did.
Okay. So yeah, what's your opinions on? Let's just talk about that level.
That was probably my favorite level in the so far, and my favorite level of all of the levels that showed up.
Yeah, if you tell me that's a remake of Westopolis, that like I would believe it. Like it feels like it could fill in for Westopolis too.
It could. I wouldn't even fight you on that. It does feel a little like that at certain points. But
because that remix, I think that's one of my favorite remixes in the game too.
Yeah. I enjoyed this a lot. It was $6, but I still.
You didn't pay for the fucking deluxe version?
No.
Why not?
Because
you didn't want the Terrio skin?
He's not that much of a shill, Mark.
No.
Why aren't you?
But yeah, I did enjoy it a whole lot. I wish there was more levels just like that. Set in the area like that.
What?
Also, I like because I was playing that before the movie, and Keanu's line readings for that level were very flat.
It's atrocious.
So I was like, I hope he does better in the game. He does. Keanu's voice is just very fitting for Shadow.
It is. It's great in the movie, but again, like the line readings for that momentary piece in the game,
the DLC.
It sounds like the DLC.
So as much as
it sounds like they said read it like you're John Wick, but like no energy. Like you are about to die at the end of John Wick 4.
No, it's like that. It's like that clip of The Simpsons I showed you where Krusty came in to record his lines for the Krusty doll.
Yeah.
He was like, "All right, hey, I'm Krusty. Oh, next line. All right, slideshow mouse." And he's like, "No, sideshow mouse. All right, okay, I'm done. Bye."
We're ready. Oh, where'd he go? Yeah, but legitimate question here. Obviously, we know that Sega's locked in to this property. I mean, it is their most important property outside.
At first, they were when that ugly Sonic thing came out. They were like very hands off. Like we just gave them the rights. We got nothing to do with it.
Yeah. but now here we are. It's like, and Mark, as you had talked about leading up to this, the how in sync Sega's game development was for Sonic, and also lining up with the film was so perfect that it was just symmetrical. It worked great.
Because they were literally working with Paramount for this whole promotion.
But moving into this upcoming little timeline here, maybe it's 2 more years, 2026, hypothetical Sonic 4, because I mean 2020 it was like what 2022, and then it was 2020 for the first movie.
Okay, so they're
but obviously we know there's. We obviously know about the racing game that probably won't be out until after that comes out or around that time comes out. Not obviously the tie-in game that we're talking about, but what would you say is a good thing that they are going to go after, you think, to market the next Sonic, you would think?
Yeah, I think they're going to keep this running because they missed their chances definitely with the first movie because they wasn't sure if they're going to be a hit or not. With the second movie, the most they can do is like, we put in a Sonic Boost skin in the new Colors release. Hey. But for this one, they were actually working with Paramount. So that's why this movie is the reason we have Year Shadow. This movie is the reason we have Sonic X Shadow Generations. Like, obviously they're going to re-release Generations at some point, but this is why we have the Shadow portion in Generations, is because this movie, and they were meant to tie in everything with this movie being the grand finale of what they call the Year Shadow. And like I think they're going to try to keep this running because also along with like the Year Shadow and everything else, I'm seeing for this movie specifically, Sonic Movie 3, I'm seeing a lot more merch for this movie specifically. There was barely stuff from movie.
Yeah.
Huh?
No, you didn't hear what you said. You said much more, and then
merch.
Yeah, merch.
So merch.
Gotcha.
So there was like some stuff. So you got like regular Sonic, but a lot of baby Sonic for the first movie. You got a couple things for the second movie. And then this movie, they're just going all out. You got that talking Sonic toy. You got like all these other toys. You got
flashlight. Yeah, it was all out there.
Yeah, probably if you look hard enough. They got everything. So again, these movies have been proven successful for Sega.
Yes.
And they're going to try to tie in as much as they can until they just start falling.
So Mark, answer my question though. What's a good game you think? If you were to estimate, if you were to remaster a game the way that they did here and tie in a character. What would you think would be a solid game if you were to... We don't know much about the synopsis, but what would you say if you could control what game comes out the year that Sonic 4 comes out, in a hypothetical with Amy being the new add-in character, what would you say is a game that you would say, hey Sega, tie this in, and that would help boost things?
Okay, so here it is.
Sonic R, baby, let's go!
He's right.
Mark's dead. Get out of my house.
But no, here's the thing. They ran out of re-releases. I mean, the most they can do is I guess remake 1 and 2, but everybody wants that. I think they're probably getting some kind of spec script or rough draft of whatever the synopsis of the next movie is, and they're probably gonna make an original game that ties into the themes that's close to that, if not DLC down the line maybe. So I think maybe at some point we can get a full tie-in.
Do you just make it
just a non-Sonic game, just
right.
a movie, Sonic movie, the game.
Do you just? What about? Would you say that Sega wouldn't do like we saw Princess Peach Showtime? Obviously, that was we already had Princess Peach games.
Well, they did other Mario stuff. That wasn't for the movie though.
But I mean, most of the Mario stuff was in deep reaction to. We already know that Mario surge was because they couldn't time it up with the movie, but it all poured on because Nintendo was super invested after that build.
Oh yeah, ton of
success. So would you say would it be out of the realm for Sega to say, I mean, Princess Peach Showtime did moderately well. We should do an Amy game. I don't know what that would look like. Has there been an Amy?
Well,
game?
Again,
would you do?
Well, first of all, unlike I don't think Amy alone can sell shit like Shadow can. Shadow can sell shit on his own, not Amy. It has to be with Sonic or something. But I think we're going to have the next game is probably going to be a Sonic game is going to have themes at times in the next movie. So if Amy's a major character, it will have a playable Amy section most likely.
Right.
If Silver's the main character too, it'll have a Silver playable.
An entire Amy story in it.
Huh?
Yeah. An Amy story itself.
Yeah.
Or maybe they'll just have a game where Amy and Sonic are playable characters where they just are together or something like that.
Yeah, Sega is still trying to play it safe. They will not try to sell an Amy game by itself. They're not trying to sell a Shadow game by itself.
Good point.
At the moment, so that, yeah. I mean, they're still going to play it safe. Amy might be playable, or she just will just be a big part of the cutscenes, but not alone. But in terms of the next game, I think it's just going to be. It's not going to be that related to the movie, but probably going to share some themes. And if not, you get movie. We're going to have movie DLC. Or a movie skin.
Right.
Just just a movie. Play as furry Sonic, furry blue arm Sonic for the whole movie, and I'll be okay with that because that Shadow model looks pretty decent.
Yeah. Oh, the Shadow model. I was impressed, especially the PS5. Holy cow, that looked great.
I think
looked absolutely fantastic.
I think the only thing we could get is a straight up remix, say, of Sonic CD, maybe with 2.5 graphics, using 3D models on a 2D plane for both Sonic and Amy.
No.
I like how you guys are both no. Oh my gosh.
Sonic CD is not great. I don't think they would. It does not play Sonic CD has like a type of little design. They don't want to go back to.
It's not built around speed at all. It's built around exploration.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't work. If they did a 2.5D and everyone had to climb.
I mean, I guess technically your 2.5D Sonic CD is Sonic Superstars because that has the same director. That has the same director. That has the same director from CD, which speaks to that game's level design.
Alright, any final thoughts before we close the book on this review?
If it's not clear, I'm not a big fan of Superstars, people.
Well, you did say that Dream Team was the best thing that came out for Sonic that year.
What else came out that year?
Superstars.
Okay, fuck yeah, Dream Team was.
Because the only other thing was DLC, wasn't it, for the year previous game? What game?
What the fuck else came out? Was it Sonic Origins?
No, it was the DLC for. Again, it was the DLC for the. What was the game that came out in 22? You guys reviewed it.
That was
But the DLC came out in 23 around the same time.
That was Sonic Frontiers, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, DLC.
That was it.
Fuck that DLC. Fuck Final Horizon. I like the cutscenes, but like Final Horizon go fuck itself.
Mark had blocked it out of his memory. Then it's like
beat all boss fights without dying. Fuck you. Jesus, like
But yeah, any final thoughts? I think this was fun. This was a fun wrap up to the end of the year. I think next time, because what was it? Spring was Sonic's place both previous times, right? This is the first time where they were competing for that holiday slot. I think next time they should really, really, really make sure, because 2026, I think, is one of those big Pixar sequels, or it's one of the big Disney. It's either, I think it's Frozen and or Incredibles 3 is 2027. But like, you gotta just stay or do not stop trying to compete with Disney.
I thought it was 2027 anyway. I thought the next one was 2027.
It might. I'm just I don't know when the timeline is, but don't put it the same like week release as a Disney movie, even a remake. Just, I don't care what it is. Just let it breathe. Let it breathe so that it gets the most success possible.
Holy shit! There's gonna be Incredibles 3.
There's gonna be Incredibles 3. That's terrible, but as long as it's written. If it's written well, we're not talking about that now. I'm not talking about that now. But yeah, that's my final thoughts. Anyone else's final thoughts?
No, I'm good.
I'm good. All right, this was fun, guys. Of course, you can find ScreenBlast podcast at your favorite podcast service.
Oh wait, no. YouTube. I'm sorry. I called it. Wait, I wish the people who
you can find ScreenBlast at the
I called Sonic. I called him.
Weren't we? We were talking about this when we both worked at the same same place.
No, not you. I other friends. They're watching this because I'm telling them that called over. They kept telling me, "No, Shadow's up here. Metal Sonic's down here. They're not gonna have him after Shadow." And I'm like, "No, it's gonna be Metal Sonic."
How the fuck you would not think Because I thought
they kept telling me.
I thought Metal Sonic was gonna come in the second movie. Honestly,
I thought so too. I was like, oh well, if they're not gonna have what happened, I figured Eggman was gonna make one out of the quill, and I kept saying it over and over.
Other than Shadow, Lex and Line, Metal Sonic is Sonic's most famous rival.
Yeah, all I'm saying is they kept saying Shadow's up here, Metal Sonic's down here, and I'm just
no, that's again because Shadow is.
I get it, he's more popular, but I'm saying if they're going off of if Sonic wins so many times, Eggman's like, okay, I want my own.
I'll be honest, everyone knows Sonic's actual rival, and that's Mario.
And I was
Mario and Sonic at the Rio Olympic Games, ladies and gentlemen.
I called it. If you watching this, I called it.
Take your favorite podcast service and YouTube. Go to ScreenBlast Podcast on YouTube. Check us out there. Of course, you can find me at Bryan the Baltimorean on Instagram. Find me at Themocracy. That's ATHEMOCRACY on YouTube. You can find this man. Where can they find you, Mark?
At the Sonic fan conventions.
That is very true.
Yeah.
Even the XXX ones.
He would know. He's running them.
That's right. I'm making a boatload of money. Cha-ching.
You fucking furry. You horny ass furries. But
he's one of them.
The Canine Biscuits.
What's your name again? You're not a furry. What's your name? Go and say it out loud. Say it for everyone loud and proud.
Oh my god.
KKK Biscuits.
No, don't put me in the picture now. Why just switch it back to us? Just leave it alone here.
Where can they find you?
Just point to turn to some point fucking bush alley. Alright. That's Canine Biscuits. K9BSKUTS.com.
Awesome. And both of you, Horrorson and the Sword himself, you can find us both. You can find both of them. Well, you have a place so they can find you.
Oh yeah, on my Twitch channel, Horrorson.gg.
Okay. That's all one word or space?
Oh, one word.
Okay, and of course you can find the Sword himself nowhere because he is the man, the myth, the legend that cannot be found except for right here on the ScreenBlast podcast. Thanks for watching, guys.
I just want to say I'm not a furry just because I drew multiple anthropomorphic characters.
And I want to say,
Mark, what's this under your bed?
Look at everybody.